right, so welcome back to the Cabbage Patch. I'm Dad.
I'm Tommy.
And I'm Gus.
And today, what do we play?
Downforce.
Downforce.
The racing game, which is surprisingly better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, we're not excited about it. It's a game for 2 to 6 players. It's ages 8 and up, and it takes 30 to 45 minutes, although I think we actually got it done a lot quicker. So it's a racing game, but you don't use dice, you use cards. And I think that part of its unique bit is when you start the game off, you have to buy your cars. So instead of you being a race car driver, you're like a team owner, right? So you start the game off bidding on each of these colored cars. So they get put randomly in positions here at the start of the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the one that's in the first position goes first. So you want to bid on a car, not just because you like it, but also because as you turn the cards over, they each have these powers, these player power cards. So there's cards that let cars you own move 2 extra spaces. There's cars that let you move 1 extra space. There's cars to let you move your car instead of another player move your car. We'll get to that in a second. So there's a car and a power, and you bid on it by using your cards. And the cards all have these numbers on them, right?
Yeah.
Right. So different color numbers. 6 through 1, sometimes there's just a single number on it, sometimes there's a number and a wild card on it, etc. And those numbers, in the bidding process, represent millions of dollars. So if I wanted to bid on the red card, I might put down my card that had 6 red at the top. And you wouldn't know that. And if Gus was bidding on the red card and he put this card down, and Tommy was bidding on the red card, he put this one down. And we all turned them over. Whoever had the highest red number, we all picked a 6. Then whoever had the most colored lines on the card would win the car. So I would win the red car since I've got all 6 lines on the car.
But what if you get the same thing?
If everybody gets the same thing, there's a way to determine ties. It's like, is there a wild card on it, etc. And then there's an extra tie that if it completely ties out, I think nobody wins the car and it goes to a pile until the end of the bidding. All right, so the first part of the game is buying your cars to make your racing team, right? The second part of the game is the actual race. So it goes in order of who is in the first position, and then it moves around the table. So in this case, in the game we played, the blue car was in the first position, right? Right, Gus?
Mm-hmm.
So I went first, and then I play cards that have numbers on them to try to get my car around the track. Right? So the track is separated out into these rectangular spaces. And I think the very first card, well, here's the very first card I played because it's still there. And it said move the blue car 6 spaces, the orange car 4 spaces, and the yellow car 2. So on your turn, you might move more than just your car.
Yeah.
So I move 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the orange car moves 5, 6, the orange card moved 4, and then the yellow card moved 2. And you do that around the track, right? So on your turn, you're playing these cards. You might move your car, you might move your cars, you might move your opponent's cars, etc. All with the goal to get back around the track once to the finish line. What happens when we cross those yellow lines that are on the map?
We bid.
We bet.
Bet.
We bet. So the score sheet...
It's really cool since you write.
It was really cool since you write on it. The score sheet keeps track of all the stuff that you've done. So when you buy a car, you write down the amount of money you paid for it. So for instance, I only had the blue car. I paid $6 million for it. So I wrote that down there. And then as our cars crossed the yellow lines, each of us secretly decided who they thought, which color car was going to win.
And since Dad wasn't first, we all just kind of went.
Yeah, everybody bet on blue.
Yeah,
Everybody bet on blue. So you bet on which car might come in first. And at the end of the game, once you finally get to the finish line, if the cars that you bet on came in first, second, or third, you get money. If your car, a car you owned, comes in first through fifth, you get money. And then you score the game by taking all the money that you won from your cars crossing the finish line, right? and you add that to all the money that you won by betting on the right car to cross the finish line for second or third, and then you subtract all the money you spent buying the race cars at the beginning of the game, and then whoever's got the highest number wins the game. Who got the highest number? I did. I only had one car. Why do you think you didn't win?
Because I spent because I got all 3 cars.
Because you spent $18 million on cars at the beginning of the game, so you only had $10 million at the end of it. So it's a game about managing how much money you spend at the beginning, racing the cars, and then making good bets. So you can still win the game if your car doesn't come in first. My car did come in first, and that was very helpful. All right, so what did you like, Gus? What was your favorite part of the game?
Like
The writing down. So Gus really liked writing stuff. And I think we're going to have fun with games where you do permanent damage to the games if we ever decide to play a legacy game. But
What?
there are games that you like rip up cards and you make permanent modifications to the map. So writing on the pad was cool. I think writing on the pad, it was really cool. There's also an app. You can do it on your phone, and it keeps track of it for you automatically. But I thought writing it down was the first thing to do. How about you, Tommy? What did you like?
I like the writing. I like the circling and
So I
checking
can see.
thing. I like the portraits.
The portraits? What did you like about the game? You said it was better than you thought it was going to be, which meant something, right?
I kind of like all the just playing a card and just like going.
Yeah, and it played pretty fast, right? Right?
Yeah.
Careful. Please careful. Please careful. Right? So I liked the racing mechanic. I thought was cool because when you play a card, other cards move. So it wasn't just you playing a card and moving your car. It was you playing a card and all the cards might move. And it was pretty stressful there too. Except for the first place. The first place crossed the finish line, but the second place was they were going back and forth until they crossed it, and so was the third.
and that's the cause.
Yeah. Was there anything you didn't like about the game?
It's stressing.
It's stressful. Yeah, the second and third place finishes were actually kind of who's going to get there first.
I didn't really understand the power cards.
Yeah, understanding the power cards at first without playing it through once was hard. You had the most powerful card in the game, which I believe was determined, but you chose to use cunning, which may have been a mistake.
Because I thought it was better.
It on the face of it might have been. I liked the track. There's also a track on the other side, so there's 2 different tracks. If you get into one of these corners where there's only one rectangle, you can block other cars. That's kind of cool. When you move other cars, right? If it's my turn and I get these cars into this position here, then I block any car from passing. So that's kind of cool. It felt like a real race. I don't think there's anything about this I didn't like.
Except it wasn't as dangerous.
It's not as dangerous.
Because
You can't die. There's no crashes. Excuse me. The board is pretty. I love the race cars. The race car components are really nice.
The only thing that would have made these better is if the wheels actually spun.
The only thing that would have made these better if the wheels actually spun. You know what? If we want to upgrade it, we might get some Hot Wheels. That might be fun. But yeah, so I like this game. This is a lot of fun. I'm going to play it again. So I think that gets us to the reviews, right? So there's nothing you really didn't like other than you didn't understand some of the rules at first.
So it's like a 3.
So you think it's like a 3?
Yeah.
Gus thinks or Tommy thinks it's a 3. What do you
3.
think, Gus? 3? Really? I think it's a 3 too. I think there's a solid 9
So got
cabbage
all
game.
9 cabbages.
Got all 9 cabbages. Did you like it better than Cape Horn, the other racing game we played?
They're both equal.
Yeah, I think we gave Cape Horn 9 as well. How about Fast and Furious, which isn't a racing game, but it's
I
cars.
really liked that game.
You really like Fast and Furious?
It's not as
It's a different game.
actiony as the Fast and Furious, and I want this off.
It's not as actiony as Fast and Furious. That's true. You're not fighting a tank. Get it after the video. So 9 cabbages, huh? Well, that I think brings us to the end of the video. Who's doing the outro?
Wait.
No, there's something you want to say?
Just the fact that some games require you to break the game
Oh, yeah. Well,
is kind of not efficient.
yeah. Well, so this game comes with, and you can buy more score pads. So this has got a lot of score pads.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
It's gonna be a while before we get through all this. Also, the next time we play, I'll probably use the app.
Sweet.
And use an app for it that you can keep score on instead of writing it down. But I wanted to write it down. I wanted to play the game the way it was the way it was given, the way I unboxed it. So I think it's cool. I love the racing mechanic. I like the fact that all the cars move at the same time. Sounds like it gets 9 cabbages. Anything else? Do you want to do the outro?
Yeah. Subscribe, like, hit that bell, Tommy.
Leave a comment if you wish,
Eat plenty of cabbages. Not us, though.
because we aren't good for you, especially if you're going to be racing.
Especially if you're going to be racing. All right. Thanks so much. We'll see you
Goodbye.
next time.
Bye!